Community development is a celebration of all that is we. This is shared through our programs such as the Community Education Program, Best Village Competition, Community Centers, and Community Festivals. I introduce to you now the Director of the Community Development Division, Ms. Suzanne Corbett.
Welcome all to this our virtual presentation of Community Development Day 2020. This year we will be reviewing what we have done in the past for Community Development Day 2019, where we had our Carifesta Community Festival. We had 6 festivals across Trinidad where we celebrated our people, where we came together with communities to celebrate communities, celebrate our Caribbean culture, celebrate all that is we. All that is we is a concept that we developed to get into communities, pull out our latent talent, our cultural expressions, our craft, our food, our heritage sites to showcase, what we have in communities. And 2019 can be deemed one of the most successful community festivals we have had to celebrate Community Development Day. Community Development Day we started to celebrate in 2013. And each year there are different celebrations where we come together with our communities to say, let's celebrate you. For 2019, we had 6 festivals across Trinidad. And as we highlight today, some of the aspects of those Community Development Day initiatives.
It's been 10 years, but I spend each day thinking, what if I hadn't gone? What if I stayed? But when so many things are calling me away, I'll sing it fills my heart like no other song can. It's the sound of the race, the boats leave the land, take me back to the waters of my homeland. We'll sing
I know you're gonna dig this.
The thing goes
Food plays a very important role in Trinidad and Tobago's culture, and our community festivals are the perfect space to share our many culinary expressions.
Here we have Omari Samuel and Paula Garcia, who will discuss the areas of appreciation of communities and the culinary experiences that we had for the 2019 festival.
Could you tell us a bit about how the heritage of Trinidad and Tobago has evolved?
Okay, that's an excellent question. What you need to realize from the history is that Trinidad really is a melting pot of a lot of groups who migrated. So we are a migrant community. And as a result of the migrant nature of the community, the groups which came, they came with cultural memories. And this has impacted the culture of Trinidad and Tobago in all facets, in terms of the built legacy and in terms of the cultural traditions that we still exist. So you would hear Afro-sounding beats, you would hear Indo-sounding beats, you'd hear places called by Afrocentric names, and likewise you have American names, and interestingly we have Amerindian names still prominent in our daily usage and language. So words like Guayaguayari, Tunapuna, Piaco, are all examples of Amerindian names.
How was the heritage history of Trinidad and Tobago captivated in CARIFESTA 2019?
Okay, so in various communities, in the community development family, you had activities taking place. Many festivals were held, but apart from many festivals, you had supporting activities which were also held. So in some instances, you had museums set up, you had art galleries set up in communities, you had storytelling in communities, you had reenactment in communities, and these things were hinged and built around history. So that in Princestown, you had the American tradition, which represented the soldiers who came from the USA, African soldiers who came from the USA and fought against the American in the War of 1812. And there was a reenactment, and it showed how Princestown got its name and its flavor, but it also showed how the diverse communities which make up Princestown were impacted by the coming of the Americans, the Amerindian experience, and also the East Indian experiences. I realized part of what you did in Sandy Grande had a lot to do with the culinary arts of the people. So you want to share a bit about that?
Well, in Trinidad and Tobago, I think a lot of people always think about culture, or like you would have just discussed, the heritage part as being important to the livelihood of the citizens. However, for CARIFESTA 2019, what we try to do is to highlight the food. And of course, in Trinidad and Tobago, you cannot have any activity without having food, because food becomes a connectivity between people of different communities. And as such, in CARIFESTA 2019, we were able to highlight all the different foods from all the different experiences that they had for CARIFESTA. So for example, in St. Andrew, St. David, we would have tried to expose them to the food that is synonymous to the North Coast. So we had things like oil dong, fish pilau, crab and dumpling, curry crayfish, which people know it as crawfish, as the proper term. And of course, we had other items on sale, like coconut water. You can't go to a river lime or to even a party in Trinidad and Tobago without having coconut water. Of course, the experiences was not just for the locals, it was for the foreign contingents as well. In other communities, we gave them the East Indian culinary experience, where people were able to delve into doubles, roti, sahina, all the East Indian delicacies. Even with the American experience, they were able to experience the food such as kuku and callaloo, which in Trinidad and Tobago is an everyday meal for us, but it's a meal that if you don't have it on a Sunday, you don't feel like a family. So food is something that we use to keep the family together. Having a conversation over eating and food is something that we do.
Yeah, actually recently I read a document and it says that food is the glue that keep communities and people together.
Like from Pakro water, which is something that we use in Trinidad and Tobago. Well, in Trinidad they say it helps to build the men's stamina.
Okay.
I don't know how true that is, because I'm not a man, I can't attest it, but I know for CARIFESTA that it was being sold and a lot of people patronized, they bought it by the bottles, and it's something that really helps to build your stamina.
Okay, so Trinidad was actually called Airi, the land of the hummingbird, and it represents our early Amerindian past. You want to tell me something about the foods that they ate and if it still survives today?
Well, traditionally, Trinidad is a melting pot, so a lot of the foods that we eat on a daily basis, you may find that it would intertwine with another ethnic group. The real traditional type foods in Trinidad and Tobago, such as kuku, callaloo, pilau, those things are indigenous to some of the Amerindians and the Caribs. Now, when you look at those indigenous groups, you realize that they came from different regions. So, of course, even like how we have Venezuelans in Trinidad, some of the foods that we eat are originating from that region. So you find a lot of the foods that we are eating now that we think is foods that just emerged from nowhere. No, it actually came out from the indigenous groups.
Actually, there was an article written recently which says that the barbecue, maybe not as we know it today, but the barbecue, that phenomenon of barbecue and roasted meat
Yeah.
It's an early Amerindian
Yeah, and-
pastime also.
Yeah, and that's why we have roast fish now.
Yes,
So
yes.
so that's something that they always did. Fishermen would stay by the beach, and when they have their catch, they will roast the fish on spot without seasoning or anything like that. So food is a livelihood in Trinidad and Tobago, not just as a means of earning an income in terms of people who sell food, but food is what keeps the family and the communities connected.
Wake up, Johnny. Wake up, Johnny boy. Wake up, Johnny. Wake up, Johnny boy. Wake up, Johnny boy.
Wake up, Johnny boy.
Wake up, Johnny boy.
Johnny boy.
Wake up, Johnny, and come let me go. No man a boys and they punch show. The bacon is a and look the flambeau. We got to use these hours through.
Come let me go.
I should have seen the soul. Come on, let me go. Up in the tree I grow. Come on, let me go. I should have seen the soul. Come on, let me go. Up in the tree I grow. Come on, let me go.
Heave the boat, boy, heave the boat right. Heave the boat with all your might. The stars up of heaven never shine so bright as a whole sack of fish.
Whole sack of fish. Whole sack of fish.
We go catch the night.
Pull the rope. Pull it. Pull the rope. Pull it. Pull the rope.
Pull it.
Pull the rope.
Pull it. The stars up by heaven never shine so bright. It's a whole sack of fish we go catch tonight. The stars up by heaven never shine so bright. It's a whole sack of fish.
Again, our communities, each district was able to pull our community people together to plan to ensure that we had a true representation of what we are as Trinbagonians. Next we have Jennifer Samud Sukram and Lionel Sampson, who will look at how we engage our communities. How did we get people to be part of this experience? And we also look at our skills training programs. We have a number of programs under the ministry like skills training, Best Village, handicraft development, and these all come together to create one experience with our community festivals. We saw a lovely showcase of our classes and all that is we.
So tell me, the community engagement process, I know that is a significant area of the community development portfolio.
Yes, it
Could you
is.
give some insight as to how that experience was?
We work with our communities. We, are very much involved with our community organizations. And so getting them involved in this particular activity or this festival was not a tedious task, as some would say. It was a bit challenging in some aspect. However, generally, getting communities to participate in this festival 100% was really, really great. All our staff and our committees that were set up for each festival, it was on a voluntary basis. And I think they were really, really happy to be part of this experience.
So from an organizational standpoint, how do you go about dealing with the challenges of bringing these people together, different interests, competing areas and so on? How do you deal with that?
In some instances, like I said, we had some challenges because there would be instances when everybody wants to be part of it and then nobody really wants to be part of it. Generally, again, the challenge, we were able to deal with it once we were able to sell, how beneficial this festival is going to be for our communities. In our communities, participation was forthcoming.
So I suspect that this would have been groundbreaking in a number of instances
Yes.
because some of these persons never worked together before.
Yeah,
in such communities.
definitely, definitely. Even though we have our community leaders and organizations within these areas, you know, some of them haven't met each other. And this was a great opportunity, a fantastic opportunity for us to, you know, build that camaraderie and unity and get to know each other, build friendships, you know, and experience what was showcased on that day. So Sam, so tell me about the classes. You know, community education has always been one of our major programs in the division. How has that, you know, how successful was it as part of the Carifesta program?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, and you're absolutely correct. The community education program is one of the hallmark products, as it were, of the suite of programs and activities of the Community Development Division. For this experience, we've had persons who would have been doing the training over the period of time. And from an organization standpoint, we could look at 9 administrative districts, and each administrative district would have been allotted 30 or more classes, and this would be technical classes like the plumbing and so on, and in addition to handicraft classes, because a critical component is to preserve the arts. And so we had in excess of 8,000 persons registering for this program. But that may just be registration.
Right.
What was able to be a product and a hallmark of many of these experiences would have been the, as it were, sales and exhibition that was an integral part of the whole operation. So persons were able to get that feel of entrepreneurial development. Persons were able to have a sense of business. And we consider that a significant success when you consider that some persons who initially came just for a skill was now able to be part of an organized, structured way to be able to generate income.
So visiting the different festivals that we had, right? I was able to see different types of craft within these classes. Do you think that you know, people were able to appreciate more what we do in community development by ensuring that these persons learn skills in the communities?
I certainly do, from 2 standpoints. One, it was able to test people in terms of their skills. Some of these persons join the class, as we would say, just to do a class.
Right.
But what came out significantly is that ability to produce.
Okay.
Further to that is the ability to generate income from what people produce. So we saw even in instances where people were so proud of what they achieved that they were hesitant in terms of selling the items.
Right.
But we had to push them as far as possible to be able to maximize on this opportunity to produce the items for sale and so on.
Right.
And as we mentioned, in terms of appreciation, the handicraft component, persons were very pleased to see a number of these items that were produced yesteryear still in circulation. And that's very good too, because when we speak about all that is we, and culturally, most persons speak about the arts, but the skills development and handicraft development is a significant component of all that is we.
At Community Development, we help persons to realize their dreams by developing their artistic side, encouraging entrepreneurship, and providing the opportunities to earn income or an alternative income. Here's an interview with one of our past students.
So I'm here with Joanna, a student of the Community Education Program. Joanna, before I get into your products, can you tell me what was your experience taking part in the Community Education Program?
It was really interesting. At first, I didn't want to do this course, but I want to know how to do like natural stuff, go into more natural things instead of all the chemicals and the deodorants and all the stuff. So that is why I was actually more interested in it at the start when I actually started the class.
And can I say, is this what inspired you to start your own business?
Well, yeah. My mom and them told me that it would be a good thing to, because people would now want to go into more natural products than the products that selling now. So more natural is the way to go right now. So yeah.
And I guess that's why you have the name Simply Green, you know, which speaks to all natural stuff. And I'm seeing some quite interesting things. I'm seeing a sugar scrub.
Yes, a sugar scrub. I made those with brown sugar, coconut oil, and I think that's basically it. Yeah. And it's just like it exfoliates your face. So like when you finish bathe and stuff, just damp your face and take a little bit and scrub. Get a little scrub.
And you said something quite interesting. You mentioned about doing it natural, and I'm seeing deodorant. I have never seen someone make their own deodorant.
Okay, well, it's made from coconut oil, beeswax, and I think shrimp.
You don't need to sell all your secrets,
okay.
huh?
All right.
Get the people a little tea. You don't need to sell all your
Well,
secrets.
okay.
Let them come and buy. Let them come and buy.
Yeah, but it's all natural, yeah. No preservatives, nothing. It's just all
I just
natural.
want to commend you firstly for being a past student of the Community Education Program, which you said concluded in July, and now taking the initiative to go all natural with your own things. As a young entrepreneur, I wish you all the best.
Thank you. And you can find me on Instagram. Yes. Simply_green509.
As you said, Instagram.
Finally, I wish to introduce Ms. Laurel Herbert Squires and Ms. Diane Hoyt Ramuta, who are going to talk about our cultural expressions, our vast cultural experiences that was showcased on a stage and showcased in the various communities across Trinidad. We are also going to highlight our Caribbean integration because a number of countries visited this Caribbean festival we call CariFesta. And they were also able to perform on a stage to showcase what they have as it relates to what we have. All persons who came to the community festivals for CariFesta 2019 can say nothing else, but we had a good time.
Laurel, well, CariFesta 2019 came, you know, it was a really remarkable experience, you know, but what did you think about the cultural expression?
I think Trinidad and Tobago is rich in culture and expressions. Especially, I would just like to mention the grand opening that they had. You know, you saw where we were really rich in culture. It was a lovely production. However, at our community festivals, you know, throughout the counties, we had several cultural expressions whereby each county focused on different items and whatnot. We had, and when we think of cultural expressions, my mind looks at a little of everything, how we do what we do. And so like when they had the smoke ceremony and at Valencia, and we had similar events throughout my county, in particular County Caroni. We focused on the East Indian experience, whereby we had a wide variety of cultural expressions in terms of the performing arts, where we had the Moko Jambi, the Jab Jab, the Chutney, Tassa, I mean, you name it. And throughout other counties focused on different things, you know. For instance, your county, you all had the whole street parade, and it was well received in terms of all the cultural expressions we would have showcased during that time.
You know, we would have had contingents and so on from different Caribbean countries because it was a whole Caribbean experience. And they were able to be part of the whole cultural performances. You know, how did their culture, you know, impact on the participants and the members of the public who would have been present at these cultural performances?
I think it was very good, and especially where they could have even joined with some of our groups to put on some performances. I think that was really good. The visiting, the contingents, and they were well received and impacted our culture a lot. Of course, being a Trinbagonian, I would say that, you know, we have culture in our bags in terms of, you know, how we do stuff. However, they were very willing to go out there to the respective communities and do what they do. I know we at County Caroni, we had the East Indian dancers from Guyana, and they performed Bhajan at one of our heritage tours, the Temple by the Sea, and it was very, very good.
Okay.
We enjoyed it tremendously.
Yes, so I think, you know, our cultural, you know, the culture of some of the other Caribbean countries and the culture of Trinidad, I think, you know, we find a lot of similarities between what,
Yes.
you know, what we do. You know, there may be sometimes it's a little different in how they do some of the things, but I think we have a whole lot in common.
Yes, we do. In terms of their choreographies and stuff, it was similar. Even their music, some of their music, it's just in whatever particular language or what have you, but in terms of similarities, yes, we do have a lot of similarities in the whole performing arts section. I know, Diane, I know we had a lot of integration, cultural integration with a lot of the visiting contingents from the various countries. How would you describe that experience in terms of that sort of integration that we would have experienced?
Okay, so the community festivals, we were fortunate to have contingents visit. You know, we had countries such as Guyana, Grenada, we had Guadeloupe, Suriname, you know, just to name a few, Martinique, you know, just to name a few of these countries. So I think, you know, they really, by coming out to the community festivals and being a part of our cultural program, you know, it really enhanced our day's activity. Now the contingents, they were, as I said, they were part of the cultural program. So they were able to showcase what they do in their countries. And that really added to the whole experience because, you know, they were really happy to come out to the district. You know, while a lot of the Carifesta activities were based in Port of Spain, by being part of the community festival, it gave them that opportunity to come out to see the different communities and have that sort of interaction. You know, I remember in my own district that one of the artists who came from Grenada, you know, they came to Princestown, and, you know, they just said that was one of the best days that they spent during the time they were here. And it was because, you know, they were able to interact one-on-one with persons from the community. You know, they felt very welcome. You know, they, even through, you know, the interaction, they realized that in terms of their culture, you know, there were so many things that we had in common. So,
Yes.
you know, they just blended in very well. And, you know, I think it augured well for that whole relationship between the different CARICOM countries, because they themselves would remember the experience that they had in Trinidad.
Yes, so
Right?
then definitely we can safely say that 2019 CARIFESTA 14 would have been the bumper CARIFESTA for those visiting contingents. But again, you said that they would have interacted and what have you. In every aspect, or just culturally, they would have had that opportunity to have that sort of integration with members of the various groups and that sort of thing.
Besides the cultural aspect, you know, there was the food. They were able to experience our local dishes, and they again, you know, they found that there was something similar. So all in all, you know, I think CARIFESTA on the whole just bonds us as a people. And
Yes.
I think it was worth all the effort that went into planning all these festivals and having these activities.
Most definitely.
All That Is We was a successful undertaking, and I must commend my staff of all the divisions. We have 9 district offices, and all the staff came out and performed along with the community to ensure the success of these events. I must also say a heartfelt thanks to Honorable Minister of Community Development, Culture and the Arts, Dr. the Honorable Nyan Gatsby Dolly, and our dear Permanent Secretary, Mrs. Angela Edwards. Again, thank you.